Hey, it's Chris, back here with another video. Alright, today I'm going to talk about a video game. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite was just announced. If you haven't heard of the Marvel vs. Capcom franchise before, it's pretty much a fighting game where they get superheroes from Marvel comic books and they fight against video game characters from various video games owned by Capcom. So if you've heard of like things like Mega Man and Street Fighter and Dead Rising, Phoenix Wright, games like that, those are all those franchises are owned by Capcom, and in this game they fight the Marvel characters. And we haven't gotten an installment in this franchise since I believe 2011, so people are really excited about it. You know, Marvel's even bigger now than it was when these games originally came out. One reason these games wasn't really popular is because they're really fun. The gameplay is really good and mostly balanced for the most part, and people really love the gameplay because most video games based off like comics and TV and movies like aren't that good. As for the Marvel side of the game, they've announced Iron Man, Captain America, and Captain Marvel, who's going to get a movie soon, makes sense she's in. And on the Capcom side, we have Ryu from Street Fighter, Mega Man X from Mega Man X, and Morgan from Darkstalkers. So in this video, I'm going to go over my top 5 characters that I would like to see in the game from the Marvel side. And these are all characters that have never been in a Marvel vs. Capcom game before. So certain characters that have been in the games before, like Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, the Hulk, Deadpool, Ghost Rider, all those people that have been in games before, I'm not including them. I'm including characters that have not been in a Marvel vs. Capcom game, period, that I would like to see. And this is just the Marvel side. I may do Capcom later, but for right now I'm going to focus on the Marvel side for this video. Alright, so number 5, Loki. I think Loki would be a great addition to the Marvel vs. Capcom franchise. Out of all the characters that were people's favorites from the first Avengers movie, I think Tom Hiddleston's Loki really stole the show. Since then, Loki's kind of showed up in a lot of different stories, different media. He would be very easy to implement. He could teleport around and shoot different beams and, you know, have different mystical, magical attacks. Thor's been in these games already, so I feel like Loki would fit. He's got a pretty original design with the horns, you know. People have really liked him from the movies, and I think he would be a great addition. Number 4 is Daredevil. Now, out of all the Marvel characters that have showed up in the Defenders shows, I think Daredevil is probably the one that is people's most favorite. Sorry, Luke Cage. But he's never been in a Marvel vs. Capcom game before. We've had Iron Fist, but not Daredevil. And I think you could have Daredevil. Daredevil would be an interesting character to have in the game. You know, he kind of moves like a ninja. He has nunchucks and sometimes other weapons that he could use while battling. I think Daredevil would be interesting, you know, just to kind of represent those Defenders characters. I know that a lot of people might end up comparing him to Spider-Man, and since we're almost for sure getting Spider-Man in this game, there might be a problem there, but I would really like to see Daredevil. Number 3 would have to be Ms. Marvel, and not the original Ms. Marvel, but Kamala Khan, the new Ms. Marvel that's in the comics. For those of you who don't know who Ms. Marvel is, she is a Pakistani Muslim girl that ends up becoming an Inhuman, and she has the powers of stretching her limbs as well as being able to change her size, so being able to grow and shrink just like Ant-Man. She's a relatively new character. She's also, in my mind, I'm pretty sure one of the few superheroes of Middle Eastern descent, at least in mainstream comics. She's new, her comic is very popular. She hasn't been in TV or movies or anything, but her comic is very popular. I think it would be interesting just a little more, to have a little more representation. Plus, her powers as far as size changing, I think could lead to some interesting gameplay. On top of that, I don't believe we've had any playable Inhumans within the Marvel vs. Capcom games yet. So, if I could think of any character to kind of represent the Inhumans, I think she would probably be the one. Number 2 would have to be Groot. Now, if you've seen Guardians of the Galaxy, come on. Out of all the characters, Groot was the character that stood out the most. I mean, in the new movie, they're already promoting the crap out of Baby Groot. Now, we've actually had Rocket Raccoon in the last game, and going into the Guardians, you would think, oh man, people probably like the talking animal the most. But no, it's the tree. Groot will be a really fun character to have in the game. You know, the fact that, you know, he'd be able to be a brawler, like an Incredible Hulk character and smash and throw people around. He could also probably, you know, use his like tree limbs to hurt people in different ways. You could even maybe have like an attack where, you know, maybe he summons like Baby Groot or like Mini Groot and they attack the enemy. So yeah, I mean, Groot is easily the most popular out of all the characters in Guardians of the Galaxy, and he'd have some interesting and unique gameplay that we haven't seen before, so I'm all for having Groot in. So before I get to number 1, I'm just going to flash on the screen a few characters of honorable mentions that didn't quite make the cut, but you know, they'd be cool if they were into. And the number 1 character that I would love to see Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite is Black Panther. Out of all the characters that were in Captain America Civil War, the movie that came out earlier this year, Black Panther is probably the newest character that's intrigued people the most. Black Panther has been a character in Marvel Comics for a long time, but he hasn't been in a lot of Marvel media like TV and movies and such. People really felt like they got to know Black Panther after Captain America Civil War. So I think he would be a great addition to this game. Black Panther's suit is made out of vibranium, the same material in Captain America's shield. He's got these razor sharp claws that he uses to scratch opponents. He also has a sword, so he could even have some sword play attacks. You know, you could definitely give Black Panther some interesting gameplay. Black Panther has his own movie coming out in 2018, I believe. So that's just more excuse for Marvel to decide to put him in a game. You know, just gives him more exposure. More people will see that movie. Black Panther is a fairly unique and interesting character. I feel like doesn't get a lot of mainstream attention. Plus, come on, I had to put someone black on the list. Out of all the African American characters within Marvel Comics, I think Black Panther is the one that stands out the most as far as powers and mythos and uniqueness, I guess. And for those of you who don't know, Black Panther is actually the king of his own country called Wakanda in Africa. So maybe in some of his attacks, he could even have some of his followers and some of his bodyguards come in and do certain things. So yeah, I would love to see Black Panther in the new Marvel vs. Capcom game. So with that, those are the characters that I would like to see in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite as far as the Marvel side goes. Maybe in some time, you know, I would do the characters I want to see on the Capcom side. This game isn't coming out for a while, so I've got a little time. But yeah, that's the Marvel side, and I'll probably make a video talking about the Capcom side later on down the line. If you like this video, hit the like button and subscribe, and also let me know in the comments down below what characters you would like to see in this game. And until next time, I will see you all later. Peace.